Kerry James Marshall was born in Birmingham, Alabama in 1955 and at age 8 moved to south central Los Angeles during the height of the Civil Rights Movement. Living down the street from the Black Panthers headquarters in Watts, Marshall experienced intense racial tensions between the LA police and the African American community, culminating in the notorious Watts riots of 1965. Due to his experiences in Watts, Marshall always felt a strong social responsibility as a black artist. He has long stated one of his main goals as an artist was to fight the whitewashing of art history and to make black people and culture highly visible in the art world. Marshall attended the Otis Art Institute in LA, where he was trained by Charles White, a famous African American artist known for his Works Progress Administration murals and his capture of American social realism. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in 1978, Marshall quickly rose to prominence for his large-scale paintings, installations, and public projects depicting African American history and modern life. Over the span of his nearly 4-decade-long career, Marshall has established himself as one of the foremost African American artists of all time, most recently being featured in the Museums of Contemporary Art in Chicago, where he now resides in Los Angeles. One of Kerry James Marshall's prominent artworks is a portrait of the artist as a shadow of his former self. Made in 1980, it features a depiction of a black man he intends to be a self-portrait. Marshall develops a social commentary on the invisibility of black people in society, seen through dark coloring of the painting and the lack of distinction between the man and the background. Inspiration for this painting came from Ralph Ellison and his acclaimed novel Invisible Man, which explores race issues and the invisibility of black people in American society. Marshall has said that in this painting, he sought to depict a figure that was close to a stereotypical representation, while also making sure that he conveyed that blackness is not undesirable. Marshall made this piece to be very small, only 8 by 6.5 inches, and painted using egg tempera, often used by Jacob Lawrence, a prominent WPA muralist and influence on Marshall. Additionally, Marshall emphasizes the contrast of black and white in this painting, as the man's white eyes, teeth, and shirt are about all that stand out. A portrait of the artist as a shadow of his former self is often credited as Marshall's first work featuring the theme of black representation that proved to be central to his career. Another one of Kerry James Marshall's seminal works is Bang, made in 1994. Featured in his Mastery retrospective, this painting depicts a typical 4th of July celebration with barbecues and American flags. However, the faces of the 3 children in this painting demonstrate contempt and uneasiness. Marshall creates this tension to illustrate the complex history of being an African American. As the little girl holds up an American flag, black smoke emerges from the grill behind her, and a garden hose encircles her, a reference to the water hoses used in Birmingham, Marshall's birthplace, to break up peaceful civil rights protests. The 2 boys performing the Pledge of Allegiance and the girl holding the flag are all wearing white shirts and appear in front of a background of white houses and fences, further developing an explicit contrast between black and white. Ironically, a sign reading "We Are One" is placed in front of the children, a blatant reminder of the immense division in America based on race that continues to plague our society today. Marshall's most well-known artwork is his 1997 painting Past Times. Recently, the painting was bought for $21.1 million by rapper P. Diddy, setting a record for the most ever paid to a living African American artist. In this painting, a black family is shown engaging in high-class leisure as they are seen playing golf and polo, eating at a picnic, and driving a boat while someone water skis. In this painting, Marshall strives to place African Americans into the canon of Western art. As a result, The image is very reminiscent of many European works, such as that of Manet and Paolo Veronese, as well as George Seurat's A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. The pastoral scene also features an urban landscape in the distant background that includes a banner reading part of a proverb stating, "Will also work with heart and will," capturing the struggle for African Americans to find work at times in an inherently racist America. Upon its selling, Marshall's gallerist Jack Shainman was quoted as saying that Past Times was sold to Sean Combs because of his purpose and his eye towards preserving legacy, vital in maintaining Marshall's paintings as he deals with concepts of inequality towards African Americans and their ongoing struggle in both the art world and society itself. Kerry James Marshall's work has had an immense impact on the entire course of art history. His inclusion of solely black figures into his work opened up a needed dialogue on why non-white people had been excluded from art for centuries. Marshall, who remembered the pain he felt as a child when he was taken to art museums and did not see a single black figure, has often stated that he strived to get his work in museums so that people would universally accept that black people belong in the art world. As his work continues to be featured in museums around the world, more and more black artists and figures are appearing in art. Additionally, his work has paved the way for many leading African American artists, including Kehinde Wiley, who recently painted Barack Obama's presidential portrait, and Kara Walker and her famed dark silhouettes. While Marshall is only 63 years old and remains a prominent figure in art, he has already cemented himself a rich legacy that continues to grow with every artist that derives influence from his work. Due to his commentary on many social issues that pervade our society to this day, Kerry James Marshall remains one of the most relevant and influential postmodern artists in the world. Relying on his vast experiences as a black man in America, Marshall has been able to successfully capture the role of African Americans in society. His desire to expose these realities that often go ignored by the majority have led to countless masterpieces, such as A Portrait of the Artist as a Shadow of His Former Self, Bang, and Past Times. As more and more artists seek to take from the works of Kerry James Marshall, there is no denying his greater impact on the present and future of art.